was the factory like?
Well, it was wartime to begin with, so it was cold very often. They didn't have enough fuel for heating. And many's a time we worked with our outdoor clothes on because it was so cold. And in the early days when I was in there, occasionally, where it was so cold, they'd stop the machines and we'd go for a run down the stairs and through the corridors at the bottom and back up again to keep our circulation going.
That's just one story from one woman who spent her life working in the Bristol tobacco industry. Along with others who remember working life in the 1940s, she's been invited to share her memories with a Year 6 class at Luckwell School in a suburb of Bristol that used to provide workers for that industry. Year 6 teacher Julia Christmas explains why.
The project is to invite Will's girls into the classroom so the children get first-hand information from those people so they can tell them what the place was like, what they did, how the community's changed, and hopefully look at some artefacts. And they're going to record interviews with the people that visit us. And the other children are going to take photographs and use that as a PowerPoint presentation.
The lesson relates to the QCA scheme of work for a local study in the unit Britain since 1930. Julia wants the children to understand working life in the factories, and so came up with the idea of inviting people who have that experience to share it with her class.
In this particular area, the majority of people used to work at the tobacco factory, and that was a community in itself. And everything they did, entertainment, work, relationships, romances, all stemmed from that place. And I became very interested in how the tobacco factory had changed, so it was like part of my own interest in it. And because of it, I actually went to the library and found this wealth of information that was actually in massive big books of newspaper cuttings, all about the Will's girls, not even about the rest of the history of the place. And then found out there was 4 factories in Bristol, and it goes on forever. And I thought the children would really enjoy this because it's just near them. Even more interesting, can you recognise these windows? We started off actually building up questions that they would like to ask the Will's girls to get ideas of what it was like to work there. So the children actually got the questions together.
In the big hall?
A lot of the people who worked there actually were pupils at this school. So it's a local history, and actually a lot of people are concerned that with the curriculum as it is, local history has been lost. And it's great to learn about the Romans, great to learn about the Greeks, but it's vastly more interesting to learn about your local place, I think. Okay, good morning, Year 6.
Good morning, Miss.
The session will run for the whole morning, but before the witnesses begin to arrive, Julia goes through the learning objectives with the children.
So could you give me some ideas of what you'd like to get out of this morning? Sophie?
Lots of information.
Lots of information. What else will you get out of it? Josh?
Experience of using equipment.
Yeah, experience of using equipment. The children have actually planned. They've looked at brainstorming what history is, what's second-hand information, what's first-hand information, and they've all said this is first-hand information. They're very excited about the outcome of it and meeting people and not really knowing what is going to happen. So it's far more exciting than sitting down at a table. And are you all ready to go?
Yeah.
Right. We've got one visitor in at the moment, so she's going to be exhausted by the end of the morning.
One of the challenges the teacher faces is to make sure all of the children are involved in the learning process. Her solution is to divide the class. 2 small groups will interview the women. They'll be using digital video cameras, and later on they'll edit some of the answers and present those answers to their fellow students.
Save us, just press that, save that.
The groups have prepared questions, and while one pair does the questioning, a second pair video the interviews, and one takes notes.
They had Bristol City used to come round once a year, and we used to decorate the room in Rovers colours. And then Rovers used to come and we decorate it in Bristol City colours. And then Eric Bristow come round when he won the World Darts Championship. He came round with his I think it was his partner then, called a lady called Maureen. Princess Margaret came.
I've had archaeologists in the past, and the children really enjoyed that. And any way that you can bring somebody else into your class who's going to inspire the children, if you've got first-hand information, that's always the best.
A third group of children will interview the women and take photographs. Later, they'll use the photos to make a PowerPoint presentation.
I'd like you to identify...
Julia's strategy for helping keep all of the children focused is to laminate photographs from working life in the tobacco industry. Then the children mark on the photographs comments and questions about the detail embedded in them.
So what do you think's happening on this picture here? What have we got on the picture? So if you identify what... so we've got somebody with a...
Can't really tell.
What do you think it is? It's a mop or a brush, isn't it? The quality of the photo's not very good. And what have we got here?
Can't see. There it is.
You see it on that one? Even more interesting, can you recognise these windows? If this is the tobacco factory.
Is it the ones upstairs?
I know them very well. No, it's not the one upstairs.
Are they the ones in the big hall, the waiters' toilets in the big...
It's downstairs.
Downstairs.
Yeah. So where do you think it is downstairs?
Is it by the ones that goes into where the bar is?
Yeah. So look, down this corner here is the entrance. I think this is right.
That's North Street.
And this is North Street here. So you know.
It's 10 o'clock and more witnesses arrive.
We'll look at the. They can look at the artefacts with you, and then the other children would love to do a photo of you with that picture. I actually asked the children in the class if anybody knew anybody who'd worked there. And funnily enough, found aunties, grandmas, and grandma's friends. So we ended up with a few parents who were quite happy to invite relatives in, and that's how it began.
When we started in the cigar factory, it was a very sort of small concern. It was only a small part of the whole factory. And it was more like a family, really. The manager's office was actually came out in our workroom. There's nothing for him to just wander around and stop and have a chat.
He knew everyone in that factory
he knew us all by name.
From now till midday, it'll be non-stop.
Where was that building?
Do you know Amaranth House in Raleigh Road?
Yeah.
How many cigars did you make a day?
The more you made, the more you got paid.
You had a certain amount.
So what did you do when you worked there?
I'd done cigarettes, learned how to do cigarettes.
What did you do to make them?
They was already made, they already count you on, I called it a sling. It was like two pieces of metal that went like that and curled at the ends. We had two pieces together with a gap. So they'd lay all the cigarettes, used to come around on a machine or through the air. And you caught them through the two metal thing and you'd flip into what they called an operative. They used to all go down in the machine. And then they'd go through and go into the silver paper, and then it'd go through another part of the machine. It'd get wrapped in foil, cling film, plastic, and then it'd go to another part and get wrapped up in. They used to do it in paper then.
If you try and work for an hour on something like this, the children get really inspired. They're writing, they're talking, they're interacting, they're listening. They're doing lots of numeracy skills and literacy skills, and you can feed in your literacy as well at another time. But I just personally feel you've got to give them time to work together and work it through, and if you keep to an hour, it's not long enough.
How many people worked in the factory?
Oh, thousands of people worked in the factory.
Near tobacco?
Yeah. Something's happening here with the tobacco.
go back if it opened again?
No, I don't think I would actually. I think I've been there, done that, so I don't think I want to do it again.
Conditions were good though. We had everything that they provided, a dentist, there was a medical department, you could have physiotherapy if it was needed. They came round every year with the mobile x-ray machines for us, so they looked after us well. There was a chiropodist, well, practically anything.
When they can relate to grandparents and they can see the changes that take place in their own community, I think it's more real to them. And because it's hands-on, I feel they take ownership of it.
It's now past midday and Julia brings the session to an end by getting the class back together to review the learning objectives.
Well, let's just go back to what we decided this morning we were going to do, and let's see if we've done that. And did you enjoy your experience filming? Yeah. The evidence is that the videos are full, and the digicameras, I've got about 12 discs, I think. What I try to do with the children is to sit together in a group and discuss what they enjoyed, what went wrong, because with this actual topic we actually went through a lot of problems with the IT equipment, things I didn't know, things the children didn't know, and we just worked together and said, well, if we did it again, what would we do better? A couple of groups had a look, didn't you? Actually, the pictures they looked at, what they actually thought the picture might be about, actually that was true. And so we got a little bit of information about that. But it was much better to have our visitors, wasn't it? So give yourselves a clap. The information we've gathered today has been fantastic. The people who came in, we got so much from them, much more than I actually anticipated. And the children are really, really enthusiastic, very motivated by it all. So I think we'll probably do a lot more with this than I thought initially. And we'll probably have more people in as well.
Do you like to make?
Children filming were very confident. I think the children using the digicameras just got into using the digicameras, and I don't mind that because they can evaluate that later and say they should have controlled themselves a bit more. And I think I would have finished about half an hour earlier than we did, because I think a lot of the children were starting to flag. They'd really concentrated on the job and they'd stayed on task, and then they needed to have a break really from it.
In a subsequent session, the children use an ICT suite in the school to edit videos and make their PowerPoint presentations. But how does Julia assess the value of bringing the witnesses into the classroom to do this local history project?
I think I'll wait to see what the children say about how it went, and if there were people not doing anything or there were people sat not getting involved, and see how we can change that. So it's always good to check what they feel. I think with any teaching, especially humanities, history can be such a lot of fun. And if you incorporate this and the drama side of it together, the ingredients are there, and what you get is magic.